over a year ago, I was in my final year of university. I was barely able to afford my rent. I had no idea what I was going to do with my life. And I was at one of the lowest points that I've ever been at mentally. If you fast forward over a year, my business is now doing over $100,000 per month. I can do whatever I want. And most importantly, I have real freedom in my life. I want to keep this video quick and straight to the point, but I just want to reflect on everything that's happened recently in my life in order to show you what's actually possible if you lock in and commit to something. And for those of you that don't know me, I've talked about it on this channel before, but I wasn't always the best student in school, and it was super tough for me, coming from immigrant parents, because you guys know how it is. They don't accept anything less than A's or 100% on your exam. And if you aren't meeting those standards, they will literally take away everything from you. But growing up, the only thing that I've ever wanted to do was make my parents proud, and I would try my best in school, but the whole time I honestly hated it and I didn't enjoy it at all. After I graduated high school, they basically forced me to go to college 100% against my will, and I had no other choice. And throughout my whole college experience, I saw the journey and I saw where I was headed, and I kid you not, every single day I would wake up with this crippling anxiety because I knew that if I kept going down this path, it was going to lead me to going to school for another 3 years to pursue my master's, to work really hard to get all these internships and climb my way up the corporate ladder as some engineer, lawyer, or something that my parents wanted me to be. I just hated the idea of it, and I was so miserable because I really thought that's where my life was headed. And the worst part of it is, on the weekends, I would distract myself with friends, partying. I would go to all these social events in order to escape what I believed was going to be my future, because I was like, damn, this is what my life is going to be. I basically wasn't happy with who I was. I wasn't happy with what I was doing, and I couldn't escape this voice in the back of my head that kept telling me that I was meant for bigger things than this. And it wasn't until about 12 months ago that I actually started my first real business. And honestly, bro, that whole shit has changed my life. And it's not just changed my life financially, but this whole entrepreneurship thing has completely morphed who I am as a person. And it's curated this mindset of somebody who truly understands what it means to be wealthy in life. When I first started my business, I went through the whole process that many of you guys have probably went through already. You're spending a ton of money on courses, employees, marketing campaigns, and you're just losing a lot of money. And it puts you in this even lower spot mentally. When I first started my business, I was doing completely everything wrong, and I was burning money every single month. I was trying to do everything on my own: sales, bookkeeping, marketing. I was literally driving myself so insane, and I continued to lose money for like another 3 to 4 months, and it brought me to this even lower point in my life. And I would work even harder, and I was trying to do all of these things in order to have some success in my business, but it didn't seem like anything was working. And like, this is a little embarrassing, but there would be days where I would put in so much work and I would basically almost cry myself to sleep. I was so frustrated with the fact that anything I was doing wasn't working in the moment. And I just knew that if I continued to do what I was doing, that it was going to work out sooner or later. And the reason that I told myself these things is because I literally had no other choice but to make it work, in my honest opinion. Going back, the last 6 months of my senior year in university, I decided to go 100% in on my business, and I just knew that I was going to make it work. I would skip all of my classes. I would skip going to the gym. I would use AI, ChatGPT to cheat on all my papers and exams that were due. Obviously, my grades dropped and I didn't care. And my parents kept telling me and talking to me about stuff like, oh, graduation is coming up. Are you thinking about applying to any further education programs or master's programs? Or did you find a new internship? And I was like, yeah, maybe. But I didn't even think twice about it. I was so focused on making this entrepreneur thing work, and it was super stressful. Like, I'm not even going to lie. Surviving that last quarter of college was honestly one of the most stressful periods in my life. I would stay up every single night until like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, watching CEO interviews and trying to understand how I can deliver a higher quality service to my clients. I would get about a few hours of sleep. I would wake up and start responding to my clients and adjusting my ad campaigns. And I spent the entire day just learning as much as I could. Looking back on it, was I being excessive? Yes, but I was just forcing myself through all these walls to get to this point of success as quickly as I could, because I genuinely just gave myself no other choice. And when I actually had to be physically present in class for whatever reason, I would whip out my computer and continue working. And I had a couple of classmates even ask me how the whole business thing was going and how things were going in my business. And I was just like, yeah, they're going all right, even when they were not. And a lot of, shout out to them, because a lot of them even offered to help me get an internship at the place that they were interning, because they saw my work ethic. They saw how obsessed I was with my business and what I was passionate about. So, shout out to them if they're watching this video or whatever. But the thing you need to understand is that when you actually find a business model that works and that you're truly good at, this thing is going to be so exponential for you, and you don't even realize the ceiling of opportunity in terms of how much money you can make and how big of an impact you can have in your market. That's the true beauty behind it. You guys have to understand that if there's something that you truly want to do with your life and you're willing to put in the effort and give yourself no other option, you'll become successful. That's just how it is. This is like a really funny metaphor, but if you go back to the Paleolithic era where cavemen used to exist, if you didn't have anything to eat, what were you going to do? You were either going to find some food or you were going to die. This is how this shit works. If you really want to make something happen, you're either going to make it happen or you're going to die. And this is exactly how I viewed things. You're obviously not going to die, but the other option for me, I had no other option. I had to make this thing happen. After I graduated university, I had some decent profits in my business, and I told my parents, I'm like, hey, I'm done with school. I'm going to look for a job, and I'm not going to pursue an MBA or a master's degree. I was just basically all in on my business. And I told myself, you either have to figure this thing out or you don't, I don't even know what I'm going to do. And I didn't want to think about another option because I didn't want to give myself an easy way out or have any other option. When I actually made my first $100,000 in profit from my business, I was like, holy, I told my parents, I even told some of my friends. I knew I wasn't going to move back home after I finished university, so I went and I just got an apartment. And $100,000 isn't life-changing money or whatever, but it's proof of concept that, like, hey, I can make this thing work, and I did. And that's exactly what I want you guys to go through. Running a profitable business and getting over that initial period where you're not making any money because you're investing money into yourself to learn new skills, and overcoming this completely changed everything for me. Not because I actually started making more money, but it proved to me that if I was able to achieve all of these things, I can achieve anything in life as long as I apply enough effort. And this is the most important lesson that I've learned throughout my entire journey. Yes, it's super corny, it's super cliche, and it sounds super simple, but it actually works. And you guys need to realize that you can make anything happen if you just wholeheartedly believe in what you're doing and you just know that it's going to work. Even at this point in my life, like, I'm not completely set. Like, I'm not this super ultra centimillionaire. And yes, I still get very anxious sometimes, but I'm truly confident in myself that just how I was able to get to this level, I can get to the next 2 levels, 3 levels, or even 4 levels. The only time that you're actually going to fail is the day that you quit forever. And if you tell yourself, hey, this probably wasn't meant for me, and you completely just stop, that is the only day that you are actually going to truly fail in your life. No matter how hard things may seem, there's this motto that I basically based my whole life around, and it's this too shall pass. All of the negative experiences in my life, all of the low points, and even all of the high points, all of the failures, all of the successes, the wins, no matter how bad or good they've been, they too will pass at some point, and you actually have way more time than you think you do. Everybody on the internet is trying to be like, oh my God, you're like 18, 25, and you don't have nearly as much time as you think. You actually do have a lot of time, but you need to get started immediately. If you look back at like all the really successful people like Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, it took these guys a minimum of 5 to 10 years. Have you actually tried to commit yourself to something for a minimum of 5 to 10 years? No, you probably haven't. Because if you've been doing something for that long, you'd probably be really good at it and you would have been successful by now, right? A lot of you guys are way too impatient. You guys think that if you don't make $1 million in 30 days that you're just cooked. You're hooked on instant gratification and wanting to see results right away. It's going to be so hard for you guys to get to that first level of results. It took me like a whole year to hit my first $10,000. And then it took me another 2 years to hit my first $100,000. And I did that when I was like 21. And this took me working 8 to 10 hours every single day trying to just learn as much as I could in order to make money. I was so obsessed and I just did anything it took to make money in the beginning, even if it meant sitting at my computer desk for hours while all of my friends were out enjoying their lives and I was just stuck trying to figure this shit out. But everything from there just basically got easier. Once you put in that much effort into something and you get results, it reinforces that idea in your brain that what you're actually doing is working. The only thing that you need to do now is repeat what you've been doing in a way that's scalable. But the point of this video is that if you're someone who wants to give up and you're thinking that what you're doing is not going to work, I'm honestly so disappointed in you. Why would you allow yourself to give up this early in your life? Like, I know a lot of you guys watching this video are probably between the ages of 16 to 29 years old, and some of you guys are honestly probably in your 30s, but the point is, why are you quitting this early in your life? You should be so grateful for the position that you're in right now because some people don't actually try to make a lot of money or get their life together until they're in their late 30s or even 40s when your life is actually way harder. If you're a teenager or you're in your 20s right now and you think that this is hard, just wait until you're 30 or 40 years old and you have kids or a wife, and it's actually a lot harder. Time is so freaking powerful, especially when you're young, because if you dedicate a minimum of 5 years of your life to one thing, you will be successful. Just go look at all of my past YouTube videos. I made my first financial YouTube video over 5 years ago, and since then, I've consistently been obsessed with making money, studying entrepreneurship, and testing all of these various business models. And the thing that I realize now, since I'm friends with other successful entrepreneurs, we've all gone down a similar path. Some of them have gone through more shit than I have. And, I have some other friends who had a little bit of an easier path than I did, but everyone has to go through these trials and tribulations, no matter who it is. Everybody who's been successful has had to walk a similar path. Anything worth achieving in this life is not going to come easy, which is why a majority of people will never be successful because they lack discipline, they spend their entire day distracted, and they don't commit to something over the long term. But to finish this video, please just continue and commit to your journey. I swear to you, if you apply effort and you really believe in yourself and who you are, you're going to make it. That's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you're new here, make sure to like, subscribe, leave me some feedback in the comment section down below. Also, if you guys have any questions or need any advice, just feel free to shoot me a DM on Instagram. It's Jose Rojas. I'll post it somewhere down here or in the description. If you want more practical advice that is actually going to change your life, click this video right here. I promise you won't regret it. And I will see you guys in the next one.